Hello, once again, I welcome you to our daily series of the week, which is entitled Back to Our Roots, which myself is Evidence Numo Chawe Odrome. Do consider to give us a like, subscribe, and give us a follow on all social media platforms. At the end of my video, too, you will see my WhatsApp contact. At the last end, yeah. So if there is something you'd like us to talk about, or something you'd like to ask more questions about, you can feel free to do so. My doors are opened every now and then. Today, we have a very special topic on board I would like us to take a deep discussion at. It's actually not that kind of very heavy topic, although it implies a lot, it means a lot, and it can be located all around Africa. I'm entreating you to give this particular video a share and to give us a comment about what you think based on this presentation and this kind of title or topic we are discussing. The issue at hand that we are discussing currently is ancestral stools. We are taking a look at ancestral stools. Someone will ask, what is or what are ancestral stools? Now, ancestral stools are stools that can be located in a particular home of an ancestor, or in a particular home or a particular family clan. Now, the duties of these particular stools, origins of these particular stools, functions of these particular stools actually do differ from community to community and from family home to family home, or from clan to clan. That is what we are here to discuss today. Let's move quickly without wasting much time. We are moving straight to the origin of stools in Africa. When we talk about stools in Africa, we are actually speaking about a general thing, because stool and its leadership roles, or stool and its importances, are not native or is not native to Ghana alone, not native or are not native to West Africa alone. It's actually native to the entire Africa, because you realize that there are some parts of Africa that when you move to, you might see the same functions of the stools that we have here in Africa, in Ghana, which I am using as my basis to give discussion on this particular topic. We realize that this issue of stool is actually rooted deeply in the lands of Africa, and it's actually being linked to community leadership, spirituality, and craftsmanship. It's very difficult to pinpoint the actual origin of this idea or ideologies of stools, but that is what we have now. This makes us who we are. So do give us a call. These are some of the key points that we can actually take a look at. Remember, the existence of stools on the African land has been here for centuries, and no one knows its origin or how it came about. It just came about it. Right. So this is point number one. Key point on the origin of African traditional stools. Number one, we have spiritual and ancestral beginnings. Most of the spirits that we do have are actually spirits that inhabit stools, and for that reason they can be venerated whenever drinks are being poured or the appellations of the stools are being said. Also, one thing we are supposed to understand is that there are ancestors that actually traveled to and fro, or from far and wide, to go and acquire some of these particular stools for what they wanted to be implemented in their families. Upon their demise, most of these stools are actually being blackened, and it's being left in consecrated stool rooms. That makes the stools actually stools that belongs to ancestors or ancestral stool. And as time goes on, venerations are being done to invoke the spirit or the spirits of the ancestors that have come to use that particular stool to give blessings, grace, long life, prosperity into that family. Point number two, it also highlights craft by early artisans. This actual part makes or gives us links towards historical attributes. That's because most of the stools that we do have actually do have the engraving of our ancestral heritage, designs that can be given interpretations and defined meanings. Because of that, most of these stools that we actually do carve do say a lot about who we are as indigenes of the African land. And also, we have the point number three, to be rooted in leadership structures. Every particular stool we have has a role it plays and has a rank in a particular community. Some of these stools may be a junior stool, may be a mixed stool, or may be a senior stool. And as such, every particular stool in the community has a role they play. Due to that, when one of those stools actually become vacant, there is open chance or opportunity that the family is supposed to sit together to get the one that is actually supposed to occupy that particular stool. Because when it's being left vacant for long, if you are not careful, things you are not expecting might actually be happening in the family. Then, point number 4, in many rural societies, the stool actually began as a simple everyday tool for sitting. My bad. Actually, what this means is that most of the stools that we do have as ancestral stools now actually do began as ordinary stools that our elderly people in the community were actually using. And like I said earlier, per their demands, those stools are actually being blackened. Then, from there, the veneration begins. All right, so in addition, one thing you are supposed to know is this, that there are some key aspects of the African traditional stools. And these are some of the African traditional stools, and then there are key aspects as I'm about to list them. It's a symbol of authority. Every particular stool you occupy gives you a rank and a symbol or status of authority in the community. And as such, that respect is being given to you. That respect is being given to the family. That respect is being given to the stool itself. Point number 2, it has spiritual significance. In times of difficulty or in press of difficulty, most of these stools are actually being venerated. Some of these stools are actually being fed. And in return, they also do vomit things that are supposed to be of proper meaning or meaningful things to the inheritance or to the inhabitants of that particular stool or that particular family. That is because stools are actually symbol of spiritual significance. Then also rite of passage and then status. In most communities, whenever a young adolescent actually transitions into adulthood into adulthood, we realize that in some communities, like I was saying, most of these people are actually giving stools to symbolize or to signify that they have been able to metamorphose from their adolescent life into an adult life. And for that reason, they are accepted in the community. Also, whatever they give as an opinion is supposed to be taken into serious consideration in every particular matters that borders the community. Also, like I said, it's also based on artistry and identity. The designs that are actually being carved into these stools do say a lot about us. It indicates who we are. It tells the whole world what we are. It tells people that are far, that are seeing what is going on, that this is the kind of message we want to pass across. It also gives credit to the artisans that did that particular piece of work. And then we also have stools that are not actually deity based or that are not actually ancestral stools. They are just there for everyday activities or everyday functions, as in sitting on it daily or giving it out as the visitors sit in that particular order, and then it follows in that particular order, like I'll say. So actually, moving on, these are some of the importances of the African traditional stools that we have. It's a symbol of power and authority. I've explained that above. It also gives a spiritual connection. Like I said, every particular stool that is being honored, that is being venerated, actually has an ancestor who has come to work with it. And in difficult times, this particular ancestor or ancestors are being venerated to come and take over the hot issues at hand, for them to give that kind of intervention, that kind of solution that their people might be looking for. Then thirdly, it gives a cultural identity. This shows who we are. It's also an instrument in the rite of passage, like I've explained. It's very, very important. Also, custodians of history and tradition are being given stools that they are supposed to sit down to give these particular things they have learned from their forebears onto the younger generation. They are supposed to imbibe them into these things that they have learned, so that in times of their demise, a whole encyclopedia is not going to be bent down the floor. Now, let's move on. One thing we realize is most of the African traditional stools we have do have names. And this is what actually occurred before the names were given to those stools. Before a stool gets its name actually, it depends on the day the stool is being carved. That is point number 1. Then point number 2 actually talks about when the stool is being given to that particular clan for them to start working with it. That being point number 2. Point number 3, the function of the stool will actually get or will actually make the adherent or the occupant to be able to fabricate a name for that particular stool. And all those are being done indoors when the stool is actually being empowered before it's being brought to the family home to be worked with. And then finally, we have functions and then descriptions. So every particular stool we have do say a lot about us, who we are, where we are from, where we are going to, our values, our traits, and our culture. This is where our lesson actually ends. It's quite a short and a brief lesson. Consider giving us a follow as we have more things coming your way. Give us a subscribe so that you will not miss future videos. Share this video out to the entire world, especially to our people in the diaspora, so that we can find our way back home. I give you peace. I wish you long life, prosperity. Tra umanye ablawo. Do give us a subscribe. Hope to meet and hear from you soon. Tra umanye aba.